Wow.
Guys, let's start. So I'm now gonna just also figure out what should you be thinking about. I think one of the challenges also we have with entrepreneurs is that we find yourself you're doing the business that you had initially planned, but you actually get stuck on it and not diversify. Not diversify, not grow. So we will cover some of those things and see how we can assist. Is that okay? And then
Yes.
you'll ask the questions, especially with you, Lerato, as a startup. I really think you have a potential of actually packaging your offering to even include project management.
Absolutely.
I think most businesses struggle with project management. I'm in another engineering company right now that I'm assisting. Their bottom line is less than $1 million. They make about 13 million. So they don't even
16.
13, 13.
Oh, oh.
So they don't even retain they don't even retain a 1 million from the million, from the 13 million they have made. Not more than
ridiculous.
I was like, it's crazy. But it was clear to me that one of their biggest weakness was project management. They are not making sure that they, one, accept the projects that they know are going to be profitable. To then set, like, I will not take any project that is below this amount kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Number
or
two.
Or they undercoat.
Yes, they undercoat. And in their mind, I think the director did, he said he just wanted to build a profile. And I said to him, you are generating 13 million, for heaven's sake. When do you think
what a mistake.
see the mindset of trying to build up a profile, whereas our counterparts, they build a profile from their CV. Tina, we build a profile from the business.
Amen. Yeah. You know, at times when you're desperate for business, you compromise so much. Yeah, but this is a costly mistake.
Yes. So I also needed to, and this is also around our own belief system about what we're doing. You need to then build up and catch yourself when you're undermining yourself, when you say, I don't have enough experience, or I have not ran a business before. All these things that you are saying in your head, you will then transmit those into how you make decisions in your business. So, and from that, it's like what I usually say, we take ourselves to the boardroom.
Yeah.
We take ourselves to the boardroom. So the boardroom is not going to change how it treats us as individuals, because we've already transported ourselves from one area to the boardroom. And that is key to understand, because it then talks to the issue that I raised in the morning, saying that you really need to start assessing if something is a problem, assessing where else is it affecting your area of performance? Where else is it portraying itself, so that it allows you to be able to deal with it in that area, but then deal with it even in other areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Lerato, so what are your actions? What are your sales plans? And how much are you intending to generate in 12 months' time?
You know, I'm thinking in 12 months' time, my main target is at least 2.5 million. Yeah, I'm looking at 2.5 million, but my other challenge is I'm not quite comfortable operating from home. There's just, I understand that I'll be meeting a lot of clients, and my family is quite fussy about traffic. So that's another challenge. I'm looking at office spaces as well to say, is there a place I can rent in the interim? So that's mainly that. And also, you know, I'm not sure if it's ethical for me to even poach some of the clients I worked with before, because there's a lot, you know, I would say I've built a reputation and a relationship over the years. So
The
there are some
business
clients
that
that,
you're in, you said it retrenched though, right?
sorry?
You said the business that you were at was retrenched.
No, that wasn't me. I left. I
Someone
decided
else,
to,
okay.
I tendered my resignation.
Okay, tell me something. In your employment contract or even in your exit arrangement, did you have a restraint of trade?
None at all.
So then
None.
why would you not use those networks? Who else would know you other than the people that you have worked with?
I'm happy to say that I was just battling internally to say, is it ethical for me to even do that? So I think.
But if those people need your service and you are the one who was driving some of those activities, why not? If there's no one, restraint of trade, and two, these are your networks. You build this over the past 12 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And when you are talking to them, you're not going to hide that you now work for yourself. You will specify and say, I now work for myself. I was wondering if you have any project that you think I can assist you in.
Wow. Thank you. You've just eased my conscience. Thank you so much.
It's not about poaching. It's about building up from what I think most of the time when we start business, we actually start from like scratch, even though we had professional careers before the business. What you need to understand that business is built from the network. If you're not building on the network that you're already, you're gonna take another 3-4 years building that network all over again.
Yeah.
People make business with people they know and with people they have worked with. So for you, you will meet people that want your services, but the conversion rate is gonna be longer because they don't know you, they don't trust you. You have to build the trust. You then have to also build up the rapport. They must like you. I mean, there's a whole list. Whereas the others already know you. They won't question your capability. They won't question if you will finish the whole list of things.
Absolutely. Wow.
And if you want to also continue, there was no bad blood with your previous employer. You could actually even contact them and say, guys, I know there was no restraint of trade, but I will be calling so and so just to catch up. Because it's not necessarily saying, is there work? You don't want to sound desperate. It's also about just positioning yourself, just catching up. What have you guys been doing? What projects are you working on? And always make sure when you position yourself also, you don't position yourself as though you're too hungry for work. Because when you hear that way, then you're going to make mistakes of underpricing. You're not going to deal with problems if they arise. I mean, there's a whole list. So just build and say, I want to catch up. I've left this company. I want to know what project you guys are working on, and it's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
Matabe, hello. Matabo, yes. May we? Okay, so I've asked you the questions. You said you want to generate 2.5 million in the next 12 months. What plans do you have that are set per quarter and per month and per week, up to per day? What are you doing every day for you to generate that 2.5 million?
You know, I mean, since class ended, I was working on my to-do list. There's a lot of admin work that I need to do, and also to modify the services that I had registered before on my website to include the business development section of the business. And there are professional bodies that I was working with, but I haven't registered with them yet. So there's one that I got from CEDA. My goodness, I'm forgetting their name. That one, and as well as Project Productivity SA. There's a lot of tools that they offer, so I'm pursuing those. I'm just trying to open my document to tell you some of the tasks that I was planning on doing.
I'm gonna allow you to share them on the screen. I've just allowed everyone to share.
Okay, my laptop is just a bit slow, but they are all jumbled. I was just throwing in ideas. They are not in a structured manner. I think
that is fine. Lerato, do you have your director's file to help you to have an index of where to find things?
No. No.
So let me show you. So you didn't do the, you did some of the compliance, right?
No.
What have you done? This is your first.
Oh, I thought you were referring to a compliance workshop. The compliance, I'm not quite registered yet. I'm not yet because I'm still working by myself. So I'm not registered with the UIF, not with COET. I'm not VAT registered as yet. Those are some of the things that I was looking into. But with VAT, I'm thinking of delaying it until at least I make $1 million before I register for VAT.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. So the reason why I was asking is so that you know what do you need to build towards. But the index allow you to always know how you're gonna categorize things and where you're gonna put things. Yeah. Something like this, from your corporate strategy all the way to your operational plan, and also to your office administration, and also business development and operations.
Yeah. And where do I find the director's index?
Okay, Bonolo, please share the link for that so that Lerato can be able to download it. I guess also, Matabo, do you have something like this that allows you to just be organized, to know where is what? Because what you then do, you index this, you use this index, the 4.1, you know, that is relating to service delivery, say product development, and research and development and operations. But you can easily, if you are revising those things, you know exactly where it is. Matabo, have you done something like this to have a clear mind? God, the main thing I think about directors is that we have to get our head organized. If our head is organized, we will also be organized in how we do things.
No, I have not used that. I don't have that system.
Okay, so maybe you can use this to even do the filing at your office, so that you're always gonna know what is where, and your team also will know where to file. You might end up finding that areas like finance might actually have even their own file per month, especially for your business, Matabo, because it's big. So you might actually have a monthly meeting, monthly reports, or monthly source documents. But there must be some sort of order even within that. So some sort of order also relates into specifying, are you filing by date, order, or are you filing by alphabet? And that clarity has to actually be known and documented, so that when you are being assisted by anyone, they file things accordingly.
In actual fact, Precious, what I have done, it's something that I just, self-taught. We have a filing system which is manual. It's not computerized. Even on the computer, the administrator there at the butchery, I taught her, maybe I learned these things through my experience of work, but I was not directly involved. But even if you can be a politician, some reports comes to you and you are able to learn some other things. So I developed a system on the computer, but it's a spreadsheet. It's not necessarily a software. It's a spreadsheet where she's supposed to record expenditure on a daily basis, income, everything. And then we have files, manual files for each client and for the butchery. And then we file invoices for every month. So I've used dividers in the ARC files. So the system is there, but it's something which I just developed out of common sense.
So I guess.
But the system is there. If you want something, you know where to find it.
Find it, yes. So as long as there's a system that help you to find things, and also everyone in the business know where to find things, that is enough.
Yeah, because like I'm saying, we are partners, the two of us. So when I was still working, I was not involved. So when I came in, I realized that there's no filing system. Things are just mixed up. But I think now I have established that system, that filing system, so that if you deal with a particular client, you know that financial statements for this month, the files are marked. So you just go there and see that financial statements, October, whatever month, they are there. And then invoices for this client, you know, every month you find them. Okay. And then also on the computer, we have developed your spreadsheet of some sort where we have done headings to say expenditure on a daily basis, because I mean, it's not like 10 rand, whatever. Then at the end of the month, she's supposed to reconcile all those figures in the spreadsheet and then match them with the hard copies of the invoices which are in the ARC file to check. So if
you guys use manual invoices?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it's almost like a book, like a little book that you guys buy in a stationery shop.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Even like our suppliers for meat, they use the manual invoices. When they deliver, they bring an invoice.
Yeah.
It's not like they send invoices to us.
Yeah. No, that is fine. But I'm a bit worried for the one where you are doing big work, where it's on a contract.
No, even that one, because we have contracts with two clients, and then they, like for instance, if we deliver, we would send a delivery note, and when we want payment, we send the tax invoice. But those things are done manually. It's books that we, in actual fact, we did not buy them from the shop. We printed them from the printers with the name of the company.
With the name of the company, okay. So it's a formal documentation. Great. Yeah. I hope they have all the controls. Obviously, your accountant will have actually picked up if they did not have the controls.
Yeah, that's what I'm fighting with my accountant, because I'm saying to the accountant, look, you are schooled as an accountant. We are not schooled. Now, besides being our accountant and waiting for after a period and say, no, but this, you did not do this and that and that, you must also integrate education out of your work to say, this is how you're supposed to do things. For me not to struggle to do work on your behalf. You shouldn't just want us to say, leave us alone, and then at the time when we have committed a mistake, you then tell us about that mistake when you did not teach us.
I'm gonna try to explain something here. I think that is one of the biggest challenges we have as accountants. Entrepreneurs employ us to do a certain work, And when you go on the ground, the level of literacy and the comprehension of business acumen is so low. But you didn't pay me or cover the training and education. And for me, that was one of the reasons why I left that type of, that profession, was exactly that. To then feel, at least if I feel I added value, that's better than me just dumping the financial statements on something that you don't know even how to read. So I think in most cases, we as clients, as you have done, is to actually tell the accountant and saying that in your services to me, you're gonna have to work with me and teach me how these things work and what are the things that I need to improve. And that is why it then leads to you then seeing the accountant once a year, but you then start seeing them once a month, and then they review, then they tell you, no, in this month, this is what has happened. What did you do? How can you improve? What are the areas that you can actually work on? And I promise you, just a monthly management, forcing to have a monthly meeting with your accountant, reviewing the reports, checking what happened in that month, what should I do different the following month, will make such a huge difference. Because you also now start getting prepared even for the following period. You will then start getting prepared. I'm gonna just share something in here. Is anyone, Loretta, your business is still new, so you don't have financial reports that you wanna analyze. I wanna just open this. Do I have any questions? Okay, got it. Let me share. You know, sometimes just when there's too many documents that are open, you're unable to see the whole thing. Can you all see this? I'm trying again. There we go. Can you all see this? Oops. Can you see this diagram? Okay, did I lose people?
Yes, I can see the diagram.
Okay, let me try to do this. Yeah, oh, each time when I try to actually show the full screen, I end up losing it. Okay, I am not gonna touch it anymore. Okay, there we go. Oh, there is your screen in full. So while maybe the way business is introduced to us sometimes tends to drive us to think finance is accounting, and or bookkeeping is finance and all that. Whereas bookkeeping is just about the recording. You know, that administrator that you are talking about, Ma, who you are saying records in an Excel spreadsheet. That administrator is basically just doing the recording of the transaction. And you guys have created a system for them by saying you will put the expenses here, you will put the income in here. But when it comes to the putting that system into an accounting to summarize the transaction, it then begins to be, then now that is accounting, right? Because accounting is taking the activities or the transaction of the business and putting them together in using a framework. So the accountants, what they do, they summarize the transaction according to a specified reporting framework. And we generally say also within accountants, there is 4 accountants. Accountant number 1 is the financial accountant. The financial accountant is a person like me who signs off on the books. Is a person who says, materially, these books have actually been presented fairly. We don't say they've been presented correctly. We said fairly because we don't check everything. The financial accountant uses standards. Standards are set somewhere in London and get distributed throughout the world because all accountants belong to an organization called IFAC, which is a federation of accountants. And accountant number 2 is a tax accountant. A tax accountant summarizes that same information, but with a perspective of the legislation. So they will say, according to income tax, this should be income, this should be a deduction. According to value-added tax, this should be this, and other tax legislation, and including estate, donation tax, all of those. They will then look at the same transactions and with the aim of summarizing them according to the tax framework. And the third accounting type, or should I say out of this, I usually say it's the sisters. The third sister within this group is what we call cost management accountant. The questions that we were working on in the morning saying that we need to know how much it costs the business to actually run its operation, how much it costs the business to actually have a direct cost. That is done by a cost accountant. They are having specific qualification in that area, and you generally find them in wholesale and retail. I generally make an example that the cost accountant is that person who's gonna save a 10 cent on their spreadsheet and budget. But that 10 cent, when it's at the end of the value chain, it will make $1 billion or 900 million or whatever amount, because they work in a high volume system. Their aim is to streamline expenses. Their aim is to run efficiency. Their aim is to make sure that on the value chain there is absolutely efficiency. And one of the biggest challenges we have with entrepreneurs, we do not run our businesses like that. I mean, I was just driving, coming back, and thinking and feeling I have paid roughly close to 8,000 to 10,000, I think, for expenses that I should have not paid for if I was paying attention on trimming and reducing my operational expense. And these are, some of it are subscriptions, some of it just the infrastructure that we've created when we are selling our book. But we haven't sold any books because we had COVID, but also because we are not driving the sales right now. We actually are planning to launch a new book. So whatever books that are left, we're probably gonna give them away. Or maybe one of our sponsors will say, please come and bring, and then we share. So I then realized if I really want to build a profitable business, I need you to be conscious about cost. And I think also cost has nothing to do with the amount. It has to do with efficiency. Is this efficient and effective for us? It's not about the amount. The fact that you have saved 100 Rand does not mean it's small. The aim is to cut off even on small items, because everything adds up in business. So then the last accountant is my favorite, is the one that most entrepreneurs don't even use at all. That is management accountant. So management accountant, from your goals, for example, Lerato, the turnover that you are planning to work on is 2.5. The question then the management accountant is going to ask you, what are your key performance indicators? How are you going to know when you are reaching that? You will know by the sales. So that is a KPI then, your sales done. But within the sales, we know that sales is equal to price multiplied by quantity. So how much volume are you going to sell to generate what? The 2.5. We've already worked out that your rate per day is actually 6,142. So you can take the 2.5 million divided by this rate per day to then work out how many days do you need to work during the year. And remember, this is working on the project. So the aim is to get projects that are going to give you those hours and you charging for that. And that is one of the KPIs. So a KPI will be, are we actually on daily basis, are we charging the minimum amount that that we're supposed to be generating for us to make up that? And if we're not making up that, what are we doing to actually make sure that we have a sustainable sales funnel to feed into us? So, and then we will then use that to monitor on monthly basis with your accountant. Tell me, where are we supposed to be? Also, management accountant will assist you to make sure that your the stuff that you have done on the costing is built in to other operational expenses so that it helps you to manage the budget. They will look at the budget versus actual. They will look at why in this month you spend so much, what was the reason, and then they then help you to make sure you manage and minimize those costs. Those are the 4 types of accountants. So, and they do different things, therefore they should be charging differently. But as I said, because most entrepreneurs do not have an understanding of these roles, then even the financial accountant get asked a costing problem. They get asked a management problem. Yes, most accountants will be able to work it out and do it because it's just working around the numbers. But remember, you need a financial accountant every year. But the cost accountant and management accountant, you may not necessarily need them. Once you know the questions you need to ask yourself and the questions you need to answer, then it's done. It's just accountability that will also just help. So even if you have a business coach, it will help when you have set the system, because as I said, for financial accounting, you need them every year. And if you are running a business that has more compliance for payroll and also compliance for VAT, then every two months or once a month, you will then need to have them to assist you to file your returns. Whereas the cost accounting and management accountant, that you only just gonna need to set it up once. Once it's set up, the charts of accounts are set up to make sure that there's a clear classification between cost of sales, which is a direct expenses, and also the budget set to monitor on month to month. And that is how then the accounting is different from bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is just purely just recording the transaction, whereas accounting is summarizing the transaction and reporting based on the economic activities of the organization. And irrespective of the size, we are all institutions have to confine with certain prescript in terms of the requirements. And for Companies Act, as I said earlier, is that the required framework is already set. But what happens then, the countries adopt. So in our Companies Act, we have adopted RFS, which is a international reporting framework standards that are set. And yeah, okay, I don't want to confuse and give you so much information that you're actually not able to absorb. Is there anyone who wants to ask any question? Oh, sure, Loretta, we've got you. Guys, yeah, is anyone who wants to ask the question? Okay, let me continue then. So with this understanding, it then allows you to select the right service provider that you need, but you can also pace yourself. Understand that as much as you will need a financial accountant, setting the charts of accounts right so that you can manage the things that matter is important. And it will also may help you to do a proper financial management. So what is financial management and how is it different from accounting? Financial management is different from accounting because accounting just gives you the summary, whereas financial management is when we do the decisions. So accounting, we only come in after the damage is done, you know, and that is why monitoring management accounts is important, because you can then foresee earlier when you have made problems. So financial management is a day-to-day running of the business on how we make decisions with the aim of improving our efficiency and effectiveness. And then corporate finance is about 3 decisions. The 3 decisions being where do we invest, and how do we finance that investment, and what is our return on investment, which we call them dividends return. The morning we spoke quite a bit about that. And those are the only 3 decisions that we make in corporate finance, and that corporate finance decisions drives the financial management decisions. They are working. That is why earlier, in the morning, I said you need to set up a clear net profit, a return on investment, your ROI, because if you don't, then you're gonna be working for other people. So the corporate finance makes those decisions, but the financial management then manages to make sure that that return on investment is actually realized. Whereas finance in general, we need to have an understanding. It's just a science that describes the way we manage and create money. And it's a way of how we exchange and use different instruments, including the banking, the credit, and also how we manage also assets and liabilities. But whether you are in public sector or in corporate or it's personal finance, the principle of finance in general, it's exactly the same. As I showed you yesterday, this morning, that you only deal with 4 things. Let me remind you. Let me remind you here. You only deal with 4 things. These are the 4 things. So even in your personal for your personal finances, your banker will ask you, how much money did you make? How much money did you spend? How much assets do you own? And they will also ask you, what debt do you have in your personal life? Because that is how they're able to work out your net worth. Because we said assets less net worth. So, and as I said, whether it's a personal finance, it's business, or it's even in government, the government generally, their income statement, they always have quite a lot of money that they're generating here through taxes, but here on spending, that is where, because they provide the services. you find when you analyze the financial statements of most public sector entities and also for government, that the balance sheet is not as strong. It's usually strong when it's a state-owned entity that has infrastructure like South African Airways. Okay, maybe that's a bad example. Okay, but all I'm trying to say is that generally, the government, when you review the public finance, the majority, the big figures are actually on the side, because the purpose and the setup of public sector is to spend the money to deliver services. Okay, guys, I am taking question. Okay, if there's no question or a follow-up, then I'm done, because I just want to articulate that. There is nothing else. I want to know what are the things that you guys want me to cover.
Can I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
Especially in my case, you know, I was looking at getting somebody to do my finances, my financials, but I realized I'm not really generating enough money to even be able to afford the accountant. So for the past years, because it's been it hasn't been a lot of money, so I was able to do my financials. But going forward, is there a necessity for me to get a financial an accountant to do my financials, even though I'm not making R1 million in revenue? Or shall I rather wait until I have enough and then engage an accountant?
No. Is your operation entity at your personal capacity, or is it at registered business?
No, it's a registered business. It's been registered since 2013. Yet, I think it's been, it's just been taking seasonal business.
Okay.
But
so, Lerato, if your business is registered, you have to actually get an accountant to actually do the financial statements, even if it's a compilation.
Okay.
There are different types of services. So what you have done, what you've just, you have done a compilation as a director of what, but someone also who has an accounting officer qualification need to sign them off.
Okay.
To review them and make sure that they are put together according to the required framework as per Companies Act.
Okay. I was paying the shelf.
Hello? I'm trying to get
I was paying the shelf company warehouse, but I thought it was a waste of money. I was tempted to do it myself, like on Efiling. Yeah.
Now, also, it's just to allow that person to review and make sure that it's compliant with the requirements. I'm trying to find, give me a second. I'm gonna, I have done a presentation of different services that you get from an accountant, different type, and they each provide a different assurance, because for your business is still small. Compilation is more than, actually most businesses, when they're small, a compilation is just more than enough. But I'm struggling now to find it. Counting. Please give me a second. I'm just gonna check. And it's actually on the book. Why am I always stressing? Let me just go through the book. I will show you. Okay. Okay. Compilation. Okay. So, guys, you do have a book, right? So I'm going to ask you to go through on your book, on the PDF that you have, and type compilation. It's going to take you through some pages. I'm going to show you now the services that you can actually okay, so let's, the network in the evening is quite bad. Okay, so there are about 4 types of services that the IFAC members, remember I spoke about IFAC, the organization called IFAC, the Federation of Accountants, and that we do. So we do something which we call an agreed upon procedures. I'm gonna show you here, guys. So we do something which is called an agreed upon procedures. So agreed upon procedures is when maybe you have a project, or maybe you are running a joint venture with someone. Precious, this person said this is the profit we got. Will you please go and check the following things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check that for me to make sure that the amount he's saying is the profit is actually the correct amount. That is what we call agreed upon procedures. You could also say something like, Precious, I have a warehouse in this place. Can you come and do the stock count? And then I will independent stock count. The agreed upon procedures does not give you the assurance. It gives you the facts. You will have to make a conclusion on your own. And then compilation is now the person taking the transactions that you have put on the Excel spreadsheet and now putting them into a required reporting framework or specified framework. And then the review, which is called independent review. That is when I am providing a review over the compilation. I can't do both independent review and a compilation. Independent review, the financial statements have already been drawn up. I now review them to make sure that they are actually complied. And it's almost, independent review is almost the same as audit. It's just that it has a limited assurance, whereas audit has a higher assurance than independent review. For you to determine which service you need from an accountant, you're gonna need to consider quite a lot of things. One, your future growth plan. Do you intend to bring a partner on board? If yes, probably maybe going more in the area of using independent review is better than compilation. You could also look at, what did I put on my MOI, the Memorandum of Incorporation? Did I say that I need to have an audit? Has there been a change on the Companies Act? Maybe the public interest score has changed. But you also need to understand what's a public interest score. And then you also need to understand what are your financial requirements. Most businesses, they don't finance people who are operating as a sole proprietor. So then again, you need to consider that. So those are the considerations, but already you are aware of what services are available for you. You also need to understand that financial statements are just a reporting system to allow users of the financial statements to actually assess the performance of the business. So always keep in mind, who am I preparing these financial statements for, and what will then be a possible suitable engagement type. Generally, we say when you have stakeholders or shareholders like public listed companies, and you have things like state-owned, you even, in other instances, you might even have a memorandum that specifically, or shareholders agreement that says you must have an audit, then automatically then the audit should be done. And you might also, when you are thinking about you have a business plan you want to attract, or as I said earlier, just think about audit and review and understand that those are the best in terms of assurance. When it's agreed that there's no assurance. Again, consider the factors I mentioned and also understand there is a cost applied to this. Third-party shareholders and stakeholders, also same, when there are third parties that are involved in your business, then you will probably need to consider using audit and review, not agreed upon procedures. And the examples are all here, guys. Just read the book. Read the book. And in detail, I've explained the agreed upon procedures all the way, and even the code of conduct, the benefits of having agreed upon procedures, defining it, and the purpose, and all of these things are important because you can then sign the right arrangement with the accountant instead of signing for something that you don't necessarily need, or the thing that maybe you need, you should have actually, because it's very difficult also to audit something that is 2 or 3 years old when information is not placed correctly. So this is what we call independent review and audit. So audit is the top is the highest form of assurance in accounting, and not all accountants are auditors. So just keep that in mind. I have a small summary here that is showing you what do accountants consider, the different type of engagements. And it then also shows you the assurance, as I was mentioning, that it's a limited for review, but for audit is reasonable, and that's the highest form. And it also relates to what standard accountants are going to use and what effort and methodology. And usually for compilation, there's not much. It's just checking the compliance with RFS. But whereas with independent review and reasonable, we actually go in more detail. Good. And the report also is the way the report is given is actually a positive assurance. But I think the words we use as accountants is also confusing. We will say we have a clean report, whereas it says unqualified. So usually any word that has a prefix, we usually think is a negative. So the qualified means it's not good. Unqualified is good. So there is that English part. I think the accountants just wanted to confuse people. So assurance also in reporting, the reporting is on the framework, but no assurance. And as I said, agreed upon procedures is pure facts, and that's it. So just keep in mind those things. Okay, guys? I think I've buried you with a lot of information and you're like, what is she talking about? God. Oh, Loretta said, compliance starting page 1 is your book is user-friendly and easy to read and a good manual in my opinion. Loretta, you better not put that in there. You should put it on the mainstream on our testimonial. Guys, we're looking for like serious testimonial. We're gonna go on a huge marketing drive when we start finalizing our book, the 3rd edition. So Lerato, the reason why it's confusing is because there's a lot of information. However, also it's the first time we are hearing this stuff. Right? Come in. Lerato, unmute yourself. I know you're working on 2 different machines. Try to unmute one of them on the device.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. The stuff I'm talking about is the first time you're hearing it. Right?
Yeah. So sorry. The echo, I'm trying to address the echo.
Okay. So because it's the first time, how many times did your teacher in sub A?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, but there's a loud noise behind.
It's windy. The wind is so loud, but so long as you're not hearing an echo, because
Okay.
I'm on 2 devices.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I was saying that it's the first time you're hearing this and you've confirmed that. And I'm saying, when you were doing your sub A, how many times did your teacher teach you 1, 2, 3?
Yeah,
So
too
it's
many to
the same.
count.
Learning is not the same, it's about repetition. First time, it feels confusing and it's a lot of information. But as I said, go through the summary, ask yourself, what is my exit strategy? What's my growth plan of this business? Do I actually want to get business consultant throughout the country? Is that my growth plan? If the answer is yes, surely then when you're building up, you want to demonstrate to whoever who will buy into your idea and business to actually find your financials to be credible. So you always have to think currently where I'm at and going forward, when is my exit strategy? And if your exit strategy is in 10 years, then you can go with this compilation. But the moment you approach 5, 6 years towards your exit strategy, you should be starting to be thinking, pulling up the real serious controls so that when you exit, everything is up and shook, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
Someone said my book is a Bible. Did you feel the same? You're saying it's a manual. Okay, fair enough. Actually, most entrepreneurs keep the book with them all the time in their bags. I promise you, it's a handbook though, right? It's a handbook.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. So the other thing also that I did, I then took I looked at what's the difference between the audit and the independent review. I then slot that out and showed you how does a public interest score work. And you guys are not there yet, but you need to understand what is that, so that when you reach that point, you have more points, more than 350. You can then know whether you're gonna go independent review or audit. Okay. My suggestion for you for now, Lerato, because you do have a computer, is to actually get an accounting software that is easy to understand, like eWave or eZero. eZero you pay, eWave you don't pay. Let me write it down. And use that so that you're doing things that are professional. You don't do invoices on an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. There you go. Wave accounting. But there's lots of there's lots of
finance tools.
Accounting tools.
I'm familiar with them.
Oh, you have been working on that.
Yeah, no, I've heard about them. I've heard about them, but I haven't tried them. I was very comfortable with Excel.
I love. You are a professional. You have a laptop and internet. Use Wave so that it's going to have a nice logo of yours. The information is consistent. You can keep track of the invoice numbers. The Excel spreadsheet file save as, copy paste.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not when you actually have attended some of our coaching sessions.
Yeah.
Remember, whatever that we do, we try our best to make it 100%. All in.
Absolutely.
We leave nothing to chance. All in. And we go an extra mile all the time and in everything. And we keep on pushing ourselves, right? We're entrepreneurs. We must actually have a very strong self-reliance and self-motivation and take pride in what we do. Because if we don't take pride of what we do, when we get these negative feedbacks from the market, we will start doubting what is inside of us. Remember, you will get 9 no's and 1 yes. Even that 1 yes, you might even have to sweat blood to get it. So we focus on our craft. So those who are already running businesses, please use this. That in these questions where I'm saying these are the things you need to ask yourself, and constantly be, especially if you are outsourcing, is making sure that you are answering these questions, preparing for the meetings, right? So that you know that your books are in order. So I even have questions for you guys when you are reviewing your financial statements. Okay. These are the questions you need to prepare for when you're gonna have what? The meeting with the accountant, so that you can reduce the risk and understand what needs to be done. Even with financial reporting, we will do the same thing. As I had said, I had also created an index there for your finance file, and you can use and manage. I think people can get yourself organized, right? Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Who's here? Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna finish the whole hour because we're such small, not unless there's questions.
I'm covered. Thank you so, so much.
Perfect. Sisi Matabo, hi.
Hello, Precious.
I want you ladies, both of you, Lerat and Matabo, to start, yes, do this business, build on it, work on it, but also diversify. Guys, there is so many opportunities in our country, and we get stuck on this running the day-to-day. I would like you guys to have a dream of being a direct and not a person who's doing the running around. But for you to be a direct, you're gonna need to build what? System. You're gonna need to build systems, learn to monitor the systems, have checklists of things, monitor, and then let it go. The aim was to create jobs for others, not to create a job for yourself. So let's go out there and look at what is possible and really build something and things that are sustainable. And don't be afraid to go to new businesses that maybe you don't have an experience in. One of my favorite entrepreneurs who passed away last year, Mamutandi Ndlovu. She was a doctor who just decided, I'm gonna go to construction with no experience whatsoever. And I get so inspired by people who get out of their comfort zone to do something that really matters to them. Right now, with post-COVID, the government is gonna be putting a lot of money on infrastructure, especially public infrastructure. And that will open up opportunities even privately, because when there's a development of public infrastructure, it also then facilitate a speed private development. One of the biggest challenges we have is that we as women, we don't own enough big businesses that actually there's assets that we can have passive income. So property is the safest. So let's start thinking about that. Let's start also using networks like this to see how can we collaborate to come up with the 10 rand there, 30 rand there, 1,000 rand, 50,000 there, to start saying we're gonna actually have some sort of an empowerment fund. And when I was talking to another person actually about 2 weeks back, this lady was saying that Before there was always a women empowerment, this women empowerment, and that has disappeared, I think because of BE. But there's nothing that stops us to actually do it. But for us to do that, we're gonna need to trust our vision and the things. We're gonna have to have bigger vision for ourselves, for us to then start looking for opportunities that are big, that are beyond our imagination. And I just wanna, on closing, to say that I think our ancestors really dreamed of where we are now. But the way we do things, I was making the example in the morning to, I think it was the lady that was doing, catering, that she has set a standard so low that I feel like, Lord, there is no up from that. So sitting back and really dreaming big as women entrepreneurs, we really need to take that and figure out how to inspire and ignite that, how to get ourselves to actually think beyond what we have seen and say, you know what, they went this mile, I can go this other mile, but standing on their shoulders and their energy and their care, so that we can build businesses that last. So ladies, thank you so much for today. I am really honored. I will leave, not unless there's anyone who has any question.
No, thanks very much, Precious. And now I'm really happy that I met you guys, and I'm a person that like to learn, and I'm not ashamed if I don't know something. I'm not ashamed to ask, because knowledge is power. You are correct to say there has been this thing of women empowerment. But maybe it subsided because of your BEE. But the major problem is that if ourselves as women who are feeling the pain are not going to advocate for us to be given our stake within the BEE that we're talking about, because, you know, the disadvantage or the challenge with us as women, we have more responsibilities. You'll find that when you knock off from the business or from a meeting, you go home because you've got other responsibilities. Men go and sit in restaurants and network there and make deals whilst you are home. And then you tend that the next thing. Yeah, you must help the children with the homework and everything, which is a responsibility that we enjoy in any way, because we are jealous about what we brought on earth, which is a child. Now, they would sit there, network, you know, and you get surprised to say, but this BEE, it's always favoring men. Is because if our voice is quiet as women, you know, I joined South African Women in Construction. It's a year now. I said, but why should I be part of SAWIC? Because I really don't see why do you exist. Because people should not be elected into leadership positions for the sake of electing people, because, I mean, we're not the same. You know, I'm one person who believes that a leader is born. I'm one of those who believes that a leader is born. Then training will make you better, but that's something that you are born with. So some people will take positions and the next thing they don't do anything on those positions for women. So we need to advocate for that quota for women within that BEE, because some men would even take their wives and make them partners in their businesses. Those wives are not even aware that they are part of those businesses. They are just putting them there for points, so that they should be, it's not necessarily, they are not their business partners. So if we're not talking about those issues as women, no one will talk about it on our behalf. So I'm not only involved in that business that I talked about. I bought a house, I took a house against I took a second bond against my house. I bought a house. From 2015, it was just sitting there. Only when I went out of work, starting to take my pension money and then renovate it to make a student accommodation. I'm more interested in property and farming, because I believe they have people will always look for accommodation and people will always look for food, you know. It's just that this one is, I'm just running it, but my main interest is in farming and property, you know, rental property. So I've started with that house. I renovated it. I've got students, and luckily it's just a street away from my house. So I thought I can even walk there. Even if I'm old, I'll walk there. I won't need to have a car. So I'm saying this platform really is very interesting and precious. You know, I'm not buying your face, honestly speaking. I'm not buying your face. I think you are one of those young women that are supposed to be leading these women organizations of women who are in business, so that at least you impart knowledge and that courage, because, you know, women, sometimes they get intimidated by men and they pull back. You know, sometimes it's either within families or outside families, because, you know, I always say women who are like involved in business and involved in leadership, they are also abused. It's just that they don't talk. You know, they don't talk. So these support groups are needed so that you are able to grow on your own. Somebody, my husband was saying, I'm silly when I was saying, you know what, I want to advocate for African women not to get married in community of property.
You can say that again. You know, when you're now applying and you're looking for funds, now you have to ask for...
now you have to ask for the husband. I experienced it. I was telling you that I experienced it from you. I apply for something, now you must sign, and you don't want to sign, I must beg you to sign and all that. You know that I said, you know what, I want to go for a marriage regime, change the status of this marriage, because I can't be held into ransom because I want to do things now. I must beg for a signature. I hate in community of property with my whole heart. So I always tell women to say, please don't, this thing is not good.
Yeah, but I think those are the things we need to learn as women, and that independence to know. And I think one of my partners was talking about just even financial literacy, that yes, your husband might generate the money and that, but have a control of what the money is being spent on. Yeah, though there's so much we have to learn and grow.
Yeah, coming from my previous background, you know, of leadership, I saw women of men who were well off. When those women die, when those men dies, those women knows nothing about the business. They can't even run the business. So the business just perish because the husband never involved the wife in the business. So as women, you know, if you you must ask for your stake now when you're still alive and start your own business. Start your own business. I hope men who are here won't take offense, but that's true. So I'm saying, honestly speaking, Precious, I would really like to interact with you. I'm impressed. You can take many women to higher echelons.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. We will, our digital marketer, Ubonolo, will get in contact, and Denise, let us know about the date quite early so that I don't have clashes.
But you know, it's like now, as we're because I'm multitasking. You know, as I am part of this training, I've been thinking to say, oh my God, I wish I could get a software which makes flyers. You know, because I've realized at the butchery, you have specials most every day, and you need to design a flyer, post it on the business Facebook and whatever. But if it's somebody else doing it, it's going to be a lot of money.
No, you can do it. Try Canva. Oh, there, someone is typing. Canva and Trello. Canva, we've just typed it for you. You can definitely do your own flyers.
Yeah, because, you know, I was saying, you know, with the butchery, I see other butcheries every day. Today it's a special, they post something.
Yes, when you are pushing your stock.
Yeah, because you can't ask a graphic designer to do that for you every day. It's going to cost you a lot of money.
It will. Try to see also from now on how you can build up even a customer base for your clients. Do you have a customer base for your clients? So when they come and buy, especially the ones that are buying maybe in big amounts that are close by, say, please leave your cell number when you are running specials. Then you will start having a group where you send specials to.
You know what I did? You know what? I took advantage of COVID-19. I always say to people, COVID-19 was very bad, but there are some advantages which you could get out of COVID-19. Remember, when we opened during level 4, clients were supposed to register so that if there's any infection, there's contact tracing.
Yes.
So I took that and created a database of clients to say the same people are registering every day. Let's create a database of our clients.
So that flyer that you're gonna create, you can then share it to that group because those are already your clients.
Yes.
And by the time, and then you ask them to share also within their network.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're learning and we'll learn and learn and learn because when I'm old, I don't want to struggle. I just want to walk to my business there and then get my money. And Mina, I've never relied on a husband. Shame that I don't want with my whole heart. I hate it. So young women like you must be taught how to create your own future. It is good to get married. There's nothing wrong about that. But don't get married because you say you want a husband to do something for you. So let me leave politics.
Women politics.
But
we need to be reminded. We have Denise, we have Bonolo here. They need to hear this, even though me, I'm married like almost 20 years now. So, but I think there's certain things that I wish I was taught and told to think about. Because if I at least thought about them, maybe I would have made different choices.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, you know the difference between us and white women, most of them, white people don't get married in community of property. Tina Saitandi in community of property is black people. And that thing is. But
we need to start working on the young ones on that one. Actually, we shall have the next session where we are talking about how the contractual arrangements that we need to have as women entrepreneurs. Do also bring visitors from time to time. Maybe also, guys, if you have any suggestion of areas that you would like us to cover. Remember that directors index has a lot of items on it. Have a look at that and see which ones we will bring people. And even on our YouTube, we have included some of the interviews from those people. Right?
Yeah, I think when we were doing the evaluation forms, we did right there because some other issues is about taxation, you know. Even those that have been in business for long, you'd hear them owing a lot of money to SARS and all that. So, but
okay. Guzolunga, what I'm gonna do though, Ubonolo has another a YouTube video on compliance. Maybe Bonolo share the one about taxpayer to everyone just to make sure, because some of it we've already covered, but it's maybe making sure that everyone knows what to find, but also can download the modules because the modules tax are also included. Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And everyone, thank you very much. See you next time.
Bye.